morning. It's a Thursday morning, and we are up and doing. Are you? Okay, welcome. My name is Ijama. Do stand by for our press review this morning. Joining me this morning to look at what the papers are saying is Engineer Tony Anebre. Engineer Tony Anebre is a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, IJ. Nambara Kenekwamun.
You look good this morning.
Thank you very much. By the special grace of God, we managed to look.
Everybody's a manager now. Okay, thank you. Welcome. Yeah, from our website this morning, Anambra Education Ministry collaborates with NDLEA in fight against drug abuse. Is the first story trending in our website this morning. Anambra State government backs establishment of schools in correctional centers. And then positive reactions trail massive desilting of drainages and roads around Ochanja Market, Onitsha, Ezes. Okay, these and many more are the stories you find from our website this morning, ABS Radio TV, www.com. Okay, Anambra Education Ministry collaborates with NDLEA to fight against drugs because it does appear that this thing starts almost from the primary school now. You hear that some children are delving into illicit drugs. Tony.
Yeah, of course. It's a very good development. Coming from the fact that we know that even the most dreaded phenomena of cultism has also gone into our schools. In fact, the lower schools, where I wouldn't know for sure is primary school, but at least we are sure that in secondary school, cultism has gone into school. And you know that one of the rail upon which cultism ran is drug addiction. Okay, so when it started, people were shouting about cultism being introduced into schools, and it seemed that all the cries, all the calls fell on deaf ears. Until right now, I want to assure you, I want to tell you, it has really been a very big problem. Now that the Ministry of Education is going in collaboration with NDLEA in order to fight drug addiction in school is a very good one, because it is this drug that prompts these young lads to be so bold, so effrontery, so fearless in carrying out their nefarious and devilish activities. So I think this is a very welcome development, and I thank the Ministry, Anambra State Education Ministry, for this wonderful innovation. It's a very good one.
Yeah. And still talking about education, Anambra State government backs establishment of schools in correctional centers. I think there's some people have actually graduated from correctional centers over the years. Tony.
Well, schools in correctional centers, that is what I can call the new nomenclature for prison.
Yes.
So that other people continue to know that when we are talking about correctional center, we mean prison. So what the government is doing now, or establishment of school in prison, which now the new name is correctional center, is a very good one, because there are people who are in that correctional center that need to be educated, to continue to get their education, so that when they come out, they become better citizens. Okay? So it's a good one too. It's a good one too, so that they will be given the basic education they lacked. They might see young people in prison, in correctional centers, people who have not even gotten up to, of course, university or secondary school, who have not completed their secondary school. And maybe probably by the time they come out from that prison, a lot has gone bad, and then so it's good. In fact, correctional center, as the name implies that when they come out, they become better citizens, better individuals. So it is a good one to carry education.
Not just formal education, there should be skill acquisition.
Skill acquisition, all forms of education, both formal and informal.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, finally, from our website this morning, the rains are here and the drainages are filled up with dates and a whole lot of things, garbages that are thrown inside them. Now, the government has embarked on the certain of these drainages, but especially that of the Ochanja, because that's the one that's been, I don't know, it's perennial. I don't know how to describe it. Okay, so how do you see that venture too?
There's no game saying the fact that our people must be able to keep refuse out of our drainage system. It's not just about Onitsha. Almost everywhere we have urban area, we have people build up and the high rise of population. Okay, a lot of people have not accepted the fact that our drainages are not refuse dumps. Some will deliberately pour in their refuse when it's raining. Some will sweep their environment and then dispose their refuse inside the drainage. Okay, so, and those things block the flow of flood.
Especially market women.
Market women.
They will pour all the cabbages, vegetables,
yes,
of this.
Some are not even perishable. Some are not even perishable. Even some mechanic. So there must, and ours is this polythene bags. Polythene bags is that do not even decompose for years. Sachet water. Oh God. So while we are doing this thing, while we are removing them from that, the drainages, a concerted effort must also be done to not just, because I cannot believe that there are people in this system like Anambra State who can say authoritatively that they are not aware that their refuse blocks the drainage system. So it's not just about educating, but enforcing them, arresting people who are doing this thing. There are a lot of environmental eyesores we see around. Of course, as a retired environmental health officer, it is something that personally I feel very bad about. You see these women that I also recall them, the hotelers, food sellers, the way they even handle the environment. Somebody will wash plates inside his shop, and they bring all the dirty water, including leftover food, leftover bones, and pour it along the street. You see, they now use street as where they now dispose of their sludge water, which is very terrible and messy. Okay? So we need, our people need enforcement in some of these things. Because if, as an Abaloza will reach, so and when we talk to them, they don't want to hear. You use law to deal with them, law, and arrest those people, give them instant judgment, and fine them. If they don't pay, you put them somewhere. If somebody stays 1 week in the cell or in the prison, I think when he comes out, he will understand that what he's doing is wrong. So I want to thank Anambra State government. I want to thank our governor in what he is doing, especially in keeping our environment clean. Then these people that are also collecting refuse wherever they are doing that must speed up their action, their work, so that people will not have any reason to go and dump these things where rain, flood will carry them into the drainage system. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's now venture into the papers, and the first paper this morning will be New National Star. The New National Star is our first paper this morning, and the banner headline there says, election petition will be under pressure to go into exile, Labour Party alleges. Election petition will be under pressure to go into exile. Labour Party, LP alleges. And then some writers there says calls on international community to intervene as conflicting court orders tear party apart. Okay. And down here, APC is still in pains over Kano loss. This coming from Adamu. Adamu should be the chairman of APC. Okay. And next up is the Punch newspaper. New House leadership, opposition reps elect plot to upstage APC. New House leadership, opposition reps elect plot to upstage APC. With some writers there, opposition reps elect meet, form greater majority bloc to tackle APC. Problem everywhere you go. Group warns members against APC infiltration, targets key House positions. Be warned, 2015 Saraki Dogara actions won't be allowed. APC tells reps elect. Okay. Okada riders on rampage. Okada riders on the rampage kill core, injure DPO. Is another story coming from the Punch newspaper. We heard that one. It happened yesterday. Lagos. Okay, the Daily Trust is our next paper, please. Directly under the name template of the Daily Trust, we have selfishness caused APC defeat in Kano, coming from Adamu. Okay, and NNPC failed to account for 102 billion naira oil delivery to refineries. NNPC. Okay, and then the banner headline there says National Assembly leadership scheming as 16 aspirants push for zoning open contest. Okay, the writers there say Southern lawmakers want Senate presidency zone to the region. Allow us to choose our presiding officers, Ndume says. I am ready to sacrifice my ambition for a Southern Christian, Musa. And then no special committee on zoning, APC. These are the writers under the banner headline that says National Assembly leadership scheming as 16 aspirants push for zoning and then open contest. I think that's all we'll be taken from this paper. Okay, there are other stories coming here. Kogi attacks, 10 people killed, 50 houses razed, and the witness said this. I don't like reading this kind of stories. It hurts. And then federal government slams Western nations for funding IPOB is another story coming from the Daily Trust. Federal government slams Western nations for funding IPOB. And then down here you have a subsidy removal. Federal government secures $800 million World Bank loan for palliatives. Okay, let's also look at Daily Sun before we start talking. The Daily Sun newspaper beside the name template, NSIA, Vital Sign, Carbon Avoidance Removal Project Agreement. And then I am pleased with prospect of carbon market in Nigeria, Finance Minister says. But the banner headline here says, Soyinka gives damning verdicts on last election, with some writers. Says polls, one of worst in Nigeria. That's coming from Soyinka. Abakoba, SMBA president, insists presidential candidates must have 25% in Abuja to be declared winner. Okay, that's concurring with Dati Baba Ahmed's position. Okay, Obasanjo writes UK court seeks leniency for Ekweremadu. Treason claim, federal government's APC overheating policy. This is coming from Owazurike. Stop giving credence to IPOB. Federal government tells Western nations. Alleges group destabilizing Nigeria with funds raised from them. Federal government to build 15 psychiatric outposts in southeast. Okay. Igbo should come home for census to prove our large population. IPOB says this. And then court stops Julius Abure from parading surfers. I'll pitch here. Okay, still coming from the paper. Post-subsidy palliatives. Federal government secures $800 million from World Bank. Targets 50 million Nigerians. 8 students, others kidnapped. Kaduna government says, okay, let's start talking, Tony. We started with the New National paper, New National Star, where we'll have the banner headline there that says election petition will be under pressure to go into exile. Labour Party alleges. And then we are asking, Tony, do you just pressure somebody to go into exile when the person has not committed any kind of crime? Otherwise, where is this coming from?
It is an allegation by Labour Party. It is not an official statement. It is not something that has come out in the open.
Though I heard Obi say that in Twitter anyway.
So it is unfortunate that after an election of this magnitude, in fact, it appears that it is even the winner that is, can I use the word, under pressure. Because after this election, we saw how it went. The loser seemed to be more calm, composed, while it appears the winner, the losers seem to be very composed, but the winners are like, they are battling probably to, I don't know what is really happening. The period of swearing in has not been done yet. The government and the party that won is still planning to arrange handover. But there is tension in the country. Everybody can rightly say that there is tension. What this tension is all about, I don't know. Because at the end of the day, what we know, we are told that the loser should go to court. They should go to court and challenge the verdict. And I'm sure they are all heading to court. They have gone to tribunal. They've submitted their claims. I don't know why this tension, what this tension is all about. It will to be the Labour Party candidate has right to voice out some of the things he felt he's going through. Okay, unfortunately, nobody will drag him into exile. Nobody will drag him into exile because, like you say, he has not committed any offense. So whatever they are doing on the ground, he should hold his ground and continue to pursue the case in the court. Okay? So,
okay, but there's another call on that. There's this call for international community to intervene. What exactly are they coming in to do, the international community, I mean?
I think where the international community will come in is to prevent breakdown of law and order, to make sure that Nigeria state still is without undue violence. And I'm sure also the international community has been calling, and I'm sure that's where the call is coming from, to the international community compel INEC to defend the result which is issued out. How do you come about this result? Let it not also be that in the court, maybe they will come out not satisfied. That is those who have gone to court. Because one thing is certain, that there must be a refuge for somebody who feels aggrieved in this country, so that people should not resort to violence. Okay? So if at the end of the day, the judiciary also fails the people, there will be problem. In fact, people may even start to get more disillusioned and disenchanted about the whole system.
Okay,
so
just like you said, there's tension in the country. Actually, some of us will be wondering, what is the cause of this tension? Was it last week or beginning of this week that the news about the entrance of the United Nations peacekeeping force, broke? We thought it was a rumor until, was it yesterday or day after, we heard that the chief of staff was telling people to remain calm. If you see such movement, remain calm, that nothing is happening. That is the normal routine thing where they feel there's tension and then they go in, at least their presence will help, pay attention and a whole lot of things. And I keep wondering, what exactly is going on? Election, you say, have been conducted, results out, and every gear has been put in preparing for swearing in on the 29th of May. Why this tension? This is not the first time that people fail election and go to court. Okay, I know Buhari has been going to court. I know Atiku went to court and a whole lot of things. Why is this one special? That is what we want to understand.
Okay, on the issue of that convoy of UN vehicle, I also saw the release from the government agencies. Actually, what Chief of Army Staff was saying that Nigeria is one of the principal financiers of United Nations missions in Africa. And their contribution in fact, United Nations has no army. It has no army of its own. Wherever they are keeping peace, wherever they have a mission to accomplish.
Okay, 1 minute.
Okay.
Yeah, hello. Good morning. My name is Ijama. Good morning.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Jike, welcome.
Good morning,
My brother, good morning.
The truth is that the APC government is creating tension in the country. The APC government that said that they won the election is the same government that is creating tension in Nigeria. They want people that are going to go to the Labour Party candidate and every other party candidate to drop or whatever the intention of going to court. So they have resorted to intimidation, lies. You can see Raya Mohammed going around the world lying as usual, as he is trademark. So the APC is just creating this tension. Maybe believing that this guy, Tito Obi and the other people will drop, or maybe because of fear, run out of the country and whatever. But so we are here. We are going to stay here. Everybody will be here. Whatever thing they want, they will see it. So that we don't have any other country apart from this country. And everybody, including Tito Obi, has the right to remain in this country and challenge the election. You have conducted an election, you say you won. Why not go to court and prove that you won the election? And you are intimidating people, and we are not in the era of uptown society. We to the society was barbaric and all this. We are in a modern society. So we are going to stay here and figure all these things out. Good morning and have a wonderful day.
All right, you too.
We will remain here and salvage it
Thank
together.
you.
Yeah, so the issue of that UN convoy, like what I was saying before, is that what the government is saying that it is the Nigerian contribution to United Nations mission. Like I say, United Nations do not have their own equipment. It's the nations that signed into United Nations that contribute this equipment they use in every area where they work. So that what we saw was the Nigerian consignment that was being delivered to the port to be taken to I think somewhere in Southern Sudan. So it's not meant to be used even inside Nigeria. So, but the nation, that the participatory nation will purchase this equipment, brand them United Nations color before taking it to the frontline area where they are being used. So that what we saw, that's what the government is saying, is not United Nations coming into Nigeria. Rather, Nigeria is delivering United Nations equipment to the site where they will use it for.
All right, thank you very much. New House leadership. Opposition reps elect plots to upstage APC. I think this is an interesting one coming. We have seen something like this. When was that? I think it was in the 7th Assembly.
The 7th Assembly.
Okay, so and it's like it's going to repeat itself now. So how exactly do you use
Good. I want to tell you, it's a very good development. A system where the third arm of the government, or rather, this arm of the government that checkmates the executive, is always being pocketed by the executive, is not healthy for the country. I believe that what is really democracy is that all these three arms must be able to checkmate themselves, be independent of themselves. Okay, so that none will become authoritative on the people. So it is not supposed that every time we will have a house that we go beyond cordiality to what the people really call the pocketing the legislation, okay, the parliament. No. So if the opposition will form enough majority in order to present the leadership of the House, it's a very wonderful development. In fact, I welcome it. I welcome it so that whatever the executive is doing, the House will be able to deal with it in a way that the executive we must know that the House is not a rubber stamp, that whatever they come up, they do, and that is what has been happening to our democracy over the years, where the government takes, the executive becomes too high-handed, too authoritative, and nobody challenges them outside the murmuring from the public. Okay.
There's something that's worrisome under that topic. I think it was the third rider that said, be warned, 2015 Saraki Dogara actions won't be allowed. APC tells repeatedly. How come there's this threats here and there? So what right has APC to tell the members that have been elected from different platforms, political platforms in the House, how to run the House? That they will not tolerate 2015 Dogara Saraki, you know? Who are they?
It is a leftover of what I just mentioned now. We have been having a government that runs authoritatively, executive that runs authoritatively, to the extent that it has become almost normal that the executive will take every decision without anybody saying no or giving advice or calling them to order. We have seen in this country where the executive decides who becomes the leader of the legislature. Okay? So they are still, I don't know, until I see anything different, they are talking from the experience. It has been happening here. Okay. So it is unfortunate that APC should come to threaten, in fact, let me use the word threaten, the members of National Assembly. Because there is
different political parties.
No, yeah, of different, in fact, not even different political parties, threatening Nigerian people. Because the House represents the people. Okay? So APC government or APC leadership should not and have no right constitutionally to threaten the National Assembly. Because they represent the Nigerian people. It's the Nigerian people that will decide who will lead the legislature through their representatives. So it has nothing to do with the executive on who becomes the leader in the National Assembly. But unfortunately, that is where we are.
Okay, talking about who becomes the leader, how do we scheme it? Because Delhi's Trust call it scheming. It's a scheming as 16 aspirants push for zoning and open contest. Okay, the other day we went talking that Abia Uzokalo, Oju Uzokalo, your brother, said that since Muslim has taken a president and vice president, that is the onus lies on him to take the Senate president. Though some people ask him, are you a Christian? And the whole lot, you know, when you go to social media, you just keep laughing, you know. So, and the whole lot of things, even the Speaker of the House of Reps. So where do you think it would
go? Politics is about lobbying. Most times we have misconstrued or misunderstood what lobbying is all about. We think that lobbying is to go and sell anything with money. It is lobbying. If you like, call it scheming. In that scheming aspect, you need to, everything in politics is distributed, or what we use to call sharing. Now, the president is a Muslim, the vice president is a Muslim. Beyond that executive level, we come to the National Assembly, which is the legislature, the second tier. Because even when we know that the judges are, the judiciary is third position, there is also an influence of the executive in appointing who becomes the Chief Justice of the Federation. Okay, so this area that is purely people-oriented should be able to balance the polity. In balancing the polity, we have gotten a president that's a Muslim, vice president that's a Muslim. There is imperative that the Senate president, the leader of the National Assembly, should be a Christian. Okay? Now, but that is the prerequisite of the members of the National Assembly elect. Okay? Once they are sworn in, once they take off office, they will call themselves together and decide. It is their duty to maintain equality. It's their duty to maintain a system that would encourage every section of Nigeria to feel included in government. So if you have president that's a Muslim, you have vice president that is a Muslim, if they will go there to put another Muslim, they invariably have started telling the Christians they are not considered. Okay. So that is why Orji Zakari will be saying, but I don't know whether he's the only Christian there, but he himself has right. He has right to aspire to be a Senate
we have
president.
him, we have Izunaso. Izunaso is even claiming that he's older than Orji Zakari in the House. That is the oldest APC serving senator from the South.
I think Abio was there too, or he's there?
He's there, he's there.
Abio is also interested. Okay, that is from South.
Okay, you are talking from the South. We are still talking from the South.
No, the issue of getting a Senate president, it depends
on the Southeast extraction. It's not possible.
I'm not saying it's not possible. Why? It's not. It's possible. Everything is planning and scheming.
Okay.
The other people call it scheming. So everything, but you have to understand that the party in power. That is, let me not even say the party. The leadership of the National Assembly should decide where it comes from. Okay, as long as it is balanced, because it will not go to Southwest. That is what it's supposed
to be, but from what is happening, it does appear it is the party in power that determines who stays there. And some other people were saying that if they want to do it that way, that Southeast should not be thinking of Senate president, if at all, that the thing will come to the South. Okay, that they may want to give that to the South to compensate Wike for what he did.
Not only Wike. The result of the election, no matter how it comes to be, says that the APC gathered more votes from the South than Southeast. Okay. So that may also be used in order to compensate the South for voting more.
All right, let's move on.
So it's not the issue of weak personal, because you don't give one person the power to dictate what's happening in a zone.
Not in Nigeria.
Not in Nigeria.
Nigeria can do anything. Okay, let's move on. From Daily Sun News, Soyinka gives a damning verdict on last election. That's something, we read that story yesterday. He was saying that this is the worst election in Nigeria and a whole lot of things. There's something that came in here, Bakoba, talking about the 25% of that of Abuja, that it is a must, is an addendum, 25%, 2/3 of the states, and then 25% from Abuja.
From
FCT.
Yes.
Okay. That is an addendum. It's not part of this now. It's on its own. Okay. That's what Abakoba has been preaching, and then that is to say that he agreed with Dati that said it's unconstitutional for you to declare a president that did not get 25% in Abuja, in FCT, a winner. That is very, very unconstitutional. Of course, that's why that is in the eye of the storm now. But let's not go there. Let's look at what Soyinka said about the poll, because there are a lot of things that have been playing out. If you talk, they will gag you. Now he has spoken that this is one of the worst elections he has witnessed in his lifetime.
Well.
Of course, he also berated his people because of what they did to the Igbos during the election.
Because all of them are part of what made the worst election. Okay? Both the attitude of the electorate, and that of the umpire. Okay? Every of them. In fact, what happened in this election, to me, even to personally look at it, I will not call it an election. There's a lot of intimidation, there's a lot of gangsterism, there's a lot of gerrymandering, okay, things that made it look like we are at war. I've never seen an election that gets this type of, in fact, from both the grassroots and the top. This is because I could remember in the last election, there was threats like this in Lagos, where somebody was saying some people will be sent swimming in the lagoon if they float so and so. And it was a very big issue in Nigeria. Now it has metamorphosed into going out fully to insist that you cannot. In fact, there was some report, somebody said, it was even a Yoruba person that says they prevented her and the husband from voting only on the fact that they look like Igbo people. You know, I don't know how these Igbo people look different. Are we not in Nigeria?
The Edo people.
Good. It has become so terrible. This one, if something is not done, that thing that happened in Lagos might escalate to other part of Nigeria later.
It may really escalate because nobody has been called to order.
Good.
Nobody has been arrested or prosecuted for threatening or carrying out a threat. And yet, they don't want anybody to talk.
So that is why if somebody said is the worst election, I won't agree. I won't align myself with that position. Because in a democratic setting, people are allowed by constitution to exercise their rights, fundamental right of selecting who is to lead them. If you come to a place where, in fact, in other countries, in other land and clime, what they do is to lobby those people who are in majority.
Okay.
You don't fight them. I remember that in America, even the present people that aspire candidates, we are going to even even to preach campaign in the area where they say they have gays. They go to even talk to them. Social workers, they go and talk to them. I remember I saw Trump holding some people. They say they are social workers and street workers.
Just to win their vote.
Win their vote. You go and lobby. If Igbo people are in majority in Lagos, win their vote. Let them give you their vote openly, not to force them, compel them not to come out to vote because they will win when they come to vote.
Maybe you guys are noisily lobbied.
It's uncalled for.
Let's move on. Post-subsidy palliatives. Let's talk about this, Tony. Federal government secures $800 million from World Bank. Targets 50 million Nigeria. They just secured $800 million to cushion the effects of subsidy removal. So why remove the subsidy?
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. The worst is that even when you talk about this subsidy,
if you are going to spend this kind of amount to cushion
when you
the
talk
effect,
about this money,
of course you know that this money cannot go anywhere. That it will still enter into some people's
pocket. The point is that every day I continue to ask this question. It appears that the Nigerian masses are at war with the government, or that the government is at the war with the masses. Because most of the time, or almost all the time, the policy, implementation and formulation seem to be anti-people. Anti-people. If you are going to get this magnanimous loan, which will not even go anywhere, and you are removing a subsidy, and you want to cushion the effect, palliative, who has palliative helped? Who has gotten anything that makes palliative work? Okay? So I don't know. When I saw this thing in the paper, I laughed. Because there's another money that will go down the drain.
I know.
And the people will suffer. Look at what happened during this so-called redesign of Naira. At the end of the day, where did we go from there? We have all the suffering, all the debts, all the things that happened within that 1 month or 3 months or the other has just gone like that. And nobody has rendered apologies to Nigerian people.
And nobody.
If it is the same society, somebody must have lost his job. Somebody would leave office for that. But in Nigeria, you do all sorts of things on the people and you just go scot-free. And nobody will care. Nobody
Let's look at other papers, just their headlines before we go. Soyinka to Tinubu, make power devolution priority. This is coming from the Nation's newspaper. And then from Nigerian Tribune, subsidy removal, palliative, federal government gets $800 million from World Bank. We have seen that story. Neighbors feed fat on Nigeria's poorly funded, inefficient seaports. Is the story coming from the Guardian newspaper. And perhaps that's all we've got coming from here. But before we go, let's look at this story, Tony. Let's look at this story that said stop giving credence to IPOB. Federal government tells nation. I think we saw it in about 2 or 3 papers.
Yes, so we even say we are there. They said
they are funding them.
But IJ, this issue of make power devolution priority, I want to tell Nigerians that devolution of power is not what Nigerians are asking for. What Nigerians are asking for is restructuring of this country. The mess that's happened in this election were all fallouts of unrestructured society. where people take the law into their hand because they believe some. How can you tell some people that are in the same country with you that they are not part of the society? So the power devolution that does not take into consideration the call for restructuring, regional autonomy. Each region should have rights to govern themselves inside Nigerian polity. And this is what has been overheating the polity. Because a lot of people are being sidelined and not being treated fairly. So if we can start talking about power devolution, it's not power devolution that is the solution to Nigerian problem. But it is restructuring that is what the people are asking for. On the issue of IPOB and the international community, well, it's left for the federal government to come out with a proof that the international community is funding IPOB.
Okay, let's see who has joined us. Okay, sorry. Sorry, you can call back.
So, I sometime last 2 weeks or thereabout, one group came out and said they are delisting or they are pulling the name of IPOB out of the list of countries they say are terrorist organizations. That was a mistake. So, according to them out there, that IPOB is not a terrorist group.
Organization.
But in Nigeria, we know Nigeria outlawed this and says it's a terrorist organization. So, if international community, I'm not taking IPOB as a terrorist organization. I know it's now left on which one will they do, because out there they see it as an ordinary organization that need, maybe, I'm sorry because I have not gotten any proof that the world is funding them or international community is funding them. But whatever, if they believe it's not a terrorist organization, they do what they do with them. It's only when they come into Nigeria that you will now apprehend them as terrorists. But the point remains that Nigeria is not an island. You share this world with a people. There must be a way we crisscross ourselves. Because I remember there was this video I was watching about an American officer that was talking about the election and even IPOB. The worst thing that has happened to Nigerian face, is where a court has given a judgment and the government has not carried that out.
It's horrible.
This is the law,
now
the court of the land.
Now you are wondering who is the terrorist.
Who is the So let's get these things done rightly so that the international community will not excommunicate Nigeria. Let me use that word. Because things must be done according to a stipulated guideline.
Okay, thank you very much. A very important call that IPOB made. I would have loved you to join it, but we don't have time again. Where IPOB said that the Igbo should come home for census to prove your large
It is a very good call, because
population.
if somebody is in Lagos and paying taxes there, and most of the time you see that certain money is shared in this country according to population. And then after somebody has got, a state has gotten a finances fund because of people that are living there. And those people are paying taxes, developing the society. At the end of the day, when they are to exercise their right to tell them they will not, somebody must go home and do his census in his own house. So that let's know how many people that are in Lagos.
Okay. Let's know who are the Lagosians. Yeah. Thank you very much. Engineer Tony Anebwe, thank you very much for coming this morning to do justice to the papers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's like we are twins today. The way we dress.
Oh, really? It's like you want to say some other things.
Let's keep it for another day.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us this morning for the press review. My name is Ijama. Friday is another day, so try to join us very late tomorrow morning and look at what is trending in Nigeria. And do stand by for other programs that were slated for your viewing pleasure this morning.